again, every other level you're getting to craft a new poison, so you're not having to forgo making any lower level ones. You can make just a lot of nightmare mold if you want. You can make a lot of cloud sheep if you want to put a lot of things to sleep. Not all pretty neat.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam, and today we're going to talk about a homebrew subclass that Sam has concocted,
Mhm.
um, the Poisoner Rogue. I think when did this idea come to you? We were
We talked about it in one of our videos about it was either assassin or the poisoner feat. Maybe we were
the
talking
Poisoner
about
Feat, I think it
poisons,
was. Yes, yes.
and we're like, oh, this would make a really cool rogue archetype. So I was like, what does that look like? And this is what it looks like. And I think it's using the rules from the DMG. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do to make a poisoner that works within the realm of the game, where it's functionally mundane, but you can do a bunch of I don't know. It seems like a really great fit to me
All
for
right,
Dungeons
and
and Dragons.
speaking of look, yes, this is a pretty robust subclass, and Sam is known to speak a little fast at times. So I just want to point out that in the link to the description, in the description below, there will be a link to the written version of this that you can follow along with if you so choose to on the
Yes.
Caverns and Creatures website.
The whole of the subclass is less than 2 pages until you realize that there's all like a functional spell list that you have to then also consider consuming because you get to make a bunch of different kinds of poisons. Of course, I couldn't just let you make one kind of poison. Oh, it's the poisoner, Bob. That'd be too boring.
Well, no, I mean, that was like a good chunk of what we were talking about in the Poisoner Feat video.
Exactly. It
Poison
was,
should do neat and interesting things, be delivered in different ways.
which the game has the support for. You wouldn't know it when you read the player's handbook, but there are rules that you can use for contact poisons, ingested poisons, but a bunch of different stuff we'll touch on in a second here.
All right.
So diving in, third level you get 3 features, which I know it sounds like a lot. Oh no, rogues get so few features normally. 3 is a reasonable amount for how I think behind this class is compared to like classes with resources. I think this is closer
And
to
I
like
mean, it's not like there's not other subclasses that get 3 features at level 3.
one of them is trained poisoner. This is the feature that gives you proficiency in the poisoner's kit. It lets you pick your poisoner's kit as your expertise feature if you like. For at 6th level, so whenever you reach 6th level, if you want to become an expert in poisoner's kit, trained poisoner gives you that. And if you already are proficient with it, you get to pick a new one instead because a new tool. Otherwise, you're just wasting a proficiency, and that's boring and dumb. And every feature that gives you proficiency should have these words because
Yes, or any kind of thing like the mage hand from telekinetic. If you already have mage hand, it gets to be improved. That's great.
quickly we can see like what does the poisoner kit actually do, rules as written. It's very simple and short. The poisoner's kit says a poisoner's kit includes vials, chemicals, and equipment necessary for the creation of poisons. Proficiency with it lets you add your proficiency bonus to ability checks you make to craft or use poisons. Don't worry, you're not going to be making any skill checks to craft your poisons because you're an expert at this. You get to just make them. But if you wanted to make extra poisons beyond what the subclass does, this kit works perfectly fine there. If you scavenge and find things out in the wild and you want to make extra poisons that you can use the gold component stuff for, that all will work with your poisoner's kit. Getting expertise in it will double up those proficiency bonuses. If you want to make even more poisons than this lets you make, yeah, don't worry, you can do that too with the poisoner's kit.
Woohoo!
The next feature you get expands how you use your poisons, called expedite delivery. So this empowers your cunning action by giving you 4 new things you can do. So part of these 4 new things is drawing a potion or poison from your equipment, so you can just get one out whenever you need it quickly. And then it also basically lets you use a poison because it lets you make an attack with a contact poison, release an inhaled poison, administer a potion to a willing creature, or apply an injury poison to a weapon, which is functionally the 4 different poison types, which are contact, injury, inhaled, and consumed. I think it's the last term. Oh God, the one that you eat
Imbibed?
is
No.
ingested. Ingested is
Ingested.
that
That's
final
it.
type.
Okay.
Yes. The whole
But
concept. Good.
this is good because you can also, deliver a non-poisonous potion if you so choose.
Yes, which will come up later in the subclass because if you're gonna be getting good at knowing what kills people, you're probably gonna figure out what keeps them alive too, or at least how to mitigate dying. Um, Now, the actual meat and potatoes of this option that will use expedite delivery a lot is poison craft. This is the system in which you make poisons. And I say system, but it's really not that complicated. You basically, over part of a long rest, you use your poisoner's kit and ingredients you scavenge around. You never have to spend gold on these. You just assume, as part of adventuring, your character is gathering stuff that they need to make poisons. Over part of a long rest, you craft your intelligence modifier plus half your rogue level poisons. This will amount to, at third level, whenever you get this, 4-ish. It rounds up, so you will be able to go from 3.5, or 3 goes to 2, plus your int mod for +2. They remain potent for 24 hours or until you make poisons with this again, basically giving you a pool of 4 poisons that expands as you level up every 24 hours, or every time you use the feature. Make
Yeah,
sense so far?
yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. You pick a type and an ingredient. The type is of the 4 that we listed earlier, so the ingested, contact, inhaled, and injury. And then the ingredient is basically the poison's effect. And there is a lovely table that has all of the cool effects that you will be eventually getting into at the end of the subclass, with a small description for each of them. Beyond that, though, they will use a DC equal to your poisoner save DC, which is 8 plus proficiency bonus plus int mod. And if you take poisoner's kit with expertise, double that proficiency instead. So you can get some pretty high saves here. Out the gate, it always is con saves. All your poisons will have con saves, but don't worry, we'll have features down the road that empower that further. So yeah, the general idea is you make 4-ish poisons every long rest that empower your character in some amount of ways, do a bunch of different things. Pretty neat, yeah?
So far, so good. Yeah.
Want to dive into what effects you get out the gate? That's the fun
Yeah. Is
part. You
that the
want
way
to...
we want to do it, or do you want to go through the rest of the features? Now,
Sure,
let's. What
up
do
to
you?
you.
I mean, all right. Let's go through the rest of the features, and then we'll come
Sure.
back and go through the specific parts of each one.
That sounds great. So through the rest of the subclass, keep in mind you are continually getting more poisons. Basically, every other level, you can craft additional poison per long rest. So at 9th level, you get 2 features. You get developed immunity. This one's super simple. Immunity to the poison condition, resistance to poison damage. Nice and simple. You expect to see these on most of your defensive 9th level features.
Yeah.
You also get a cool feature that I like a lot. It's called Medicinal Fundamentals. This lets you craft potions of healing and antitoxins, a number of those equal to your intelligence modifier that have the 24-hour caveat. They work the same as the poisons, but you get these additionally.
Mhm.
And then as you level up at 13th level, you can instead make potions of superior healing. At 17th level, you can make potions of, potions of greater healing, and at 17th level, potions of superior healing. So you can craft some potions that you can deliver using expedited delivery to get some
All
extra
right.
healing utility. Yeah? Yeah?
Sounds good.
Neat stuff. At 13th level, we get targeted agent. Whenever you create a poison using poison craft, you can use strength or intelligence instead of constitution for the save type. So a lot of monsters are going to have a fat 28 constitution. You go, I'd rather it hit their brain, thanks. Targeted agent gives you the opportunity to do that.
Oh, I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Gives you some flexibility. You can make some con-based save poisons, some strength-based save poisons, up to you. We also get synergistic properties. So this whole time, again, you've been gaining more poisons. There's a table that has prereqs as to what ingredients you could use. Those have been increasing over time. This is an improvement on top of that. So synergistic properties basically says if you would make a poison that has no prereqs, you can instead pick 2 ingredients, which give you 2 effects instead of 1. So now you have an actual reason to keep going back to the lower tiered poison ingredients. You can have reasons to pick up maybe venom and the poison one, the dizzying spores. You could pick any of these 2 that are the non-prereq ingredients to include, and now you can get a mix and match poison, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I like that. I think we brought that up in the poisoner feed video.
Mm-hmm. We finally end on, I think, the coolest feature. It's instant death decoction. I also love the name of it. It makes me very happy. So this gives you, whenever you craft poisons over a long rest, you make an instant death decoction. A creature that suffers the effects of the decoction dies on a failed save, or takes 30d6 poison damage on a successful one. But creatures that are immune to the poison damage or the poison condition automatically succeed on the save. So it's not going to be
But they
killing anything that
still,
are immune to poison.
but they still take the damage.
And like, yeah, if they're immune to the poison damage, they take no damage because it's the poison damage,
Oh,
right?
right.
But the idea being, yes, creatures immune to the poison condition won't instantly die from this thing should they fail to save. Which is
And
kind of neat.
that's good. That's a way for the DM to keep you from instantly killing everything.
Yes.
But
I
it's still
I
it's a proper 17th level feature.
my aim for this was like, I want this to be functionally once per long rest 9th level spell slot. Rogues deserve it. And
Yeah.
this is close to that, I think. It is big, splashy, high damage. Now, there's a lot of caveats to that because you have to apply this poison to the target, right? It isn't just like a range 120-foot spell. You have
Hmm.
to put this on a weapon shot and like apply it with poison and shoot a bow. If you miss, that poison is just somewhere on the other side of the room now, right? Maybe you get up in its face, throw some inhaled poison at it, but then there's some inherent risk there, right? Because you
Yeah.
have to approach the target. There's a lot of cool decision making that I think goes into playing with these poisons
I
at the
mean,
actual table. That
you could
looks
put it
really
in
fun.
food.
You could, and then it gets
Yeah.
Lane to drink it and instantly kill it.
Yeah.
It's really cool, right? It does the poisoner
I
thing that
think
you're
so.
supposed to do.
Yeah, that's going back to the poisoner feat and the assassin rogue and everything. That's the the range of effects and delivery styles feel a lot more limited compared to this.
Oh yeah. I'm most upset with the delivery styles that aren't explained or built on at all in the
Mm,
PHB. I think it would be very useful to have a section that's talking about contact, ingested, inhaled, and injury poisons. All of them do cool stuff. Inhaled poisons, they're relevant in the subclass. Inhaled poisons release a 5 foot wide cloud. Rules as written. Creatures that can't even like hold their breath or cover their nose or anything. It gets through their eyes and skin and burns them. If you it lasts until the round, then it dissipates. So you can blow this into a space, burn a creature in it. That seems great. Injury poisons go on ammunition that are or ammunition weapons that deal piercing or slashing. They apply the effect and save on connection. Makes a lot of sense to me, right?
sure.
Um, you got ingested poisons, which are just ways to poison people in food or drink that last until it's done. And if they consume it, well, you just drank poison. You make a save. Hopefully, you don't die. And I contact poisons. You put in a vial and throw at somebody. Splash poison on their face. See what happens. It works like acid does, basically. So those are all the delivery mechanisms. Um, I think now is probably time to dive into what these actual poisons that you're going to be crafting do, because I think this is like 99% of the feeling and playing the play pattern of being a poisoner is like, well, how do I kill things? How do I poison them, right?
All right. So this is going back to all the way back to our third level features. Yes.
Yes. Poison
Okay.
craft. And
Poison craft.
remember, every other level, you can make an extra poison per long rest. It just keeps stacking up as long as you keep taking levels in Rogue, which is a deliberate choice to not use proficiency bonus because it makes it harder to multi-class this. Because if you were to just be like, oh, I make 30 or 12 poisons because I have a +6 proficiency bonus for being 17 levels of a full caster, that's a lot. And it doesn't need to have that many. You should have a reason to continue playing Rogue, I think. Anyway, so anytime you brew potions or brew poisons, you pick an ingredient for each of your poisons. And your third level rogue, Bob, will say you get Immod +2. You're making 4 poisons. You get these 5 ingredients to pick from. 5, yeah. We got bloating shrooms
Okay.
that reduces a creature's speed. We have dizzying spores to induce random movement to creatures. Nauseating herbs applies poison condition. And we have rage leaf. It infuriates a creature, making it attack stuff. And we have venom. That's the classic poison damage. Uh, the actual specific mechanics of them all, bloating shrooms drops creature speed to 10 if it fails the save. All of these also will always do something even if the creature succeeds the saving throw. A lot of the time, that thing is the effect doesn't last the duration of a minute, but instead lasts until the end of its next turn. So most of these poisons will read you get an effect for a minute or until the end of its next turn, and then creatures usually repeat the save at the ends of turns anyway. So you will, if you connect with a poison, if you jump through the hoops of like actually getting a poison on a weapon and stab at somebody with it, you will get at least one round of the effect out. It won't be just screwed out of getting nothing whenever high risk, high reward got your poison in
Yeah.
there.
So even for like venom,
Venom
uh,
is nice and clean and easy. 3d6 poison damage on a failed save, half as much of a success.
but that lasts for a minute until they make a saving throw.
That's the only one that doesn't have a duration.
Okay, all
That's
right. That
just
was my question.
instantaneous damage. It's functionally a
Okay.
divine spine.
All right, but the other ones they actually do stuff. This is what I really like. This is what I wanted from poisoner feat from poisons in general. Not just poison condition, not just poison damage. I want some other cool effects, and this is what it gives me. We got a what, so what are you asking me? Which one I pick or what?
Sure. If you
Uh,
got to pick one of these, what are you making? I guess
let's see.
you could even pick 4 if you wanted.
Yeah, I mean I could make 4 of the same one, or I could do
Mix and match.
let's yeah. I like reducing a creature's speed.
Yeah, bloating shroom drops it to 10.
Yeah.
Slows something down on connection. Works with arrows from over long distances.
You know what? I'm a sucker for randomness. I think I'm going with the dizzying spores. I like
Dizzy.
random movement.
It also has a really massive upside. So dizzying spores is an affected creature must move at least half its speed in a random direction and fall prone at the start of its next turn.
Oh,
Um, if it succeeds on the save, it instead just falls prone. What that means as a rogue, though, is it provokes an opportunity attack from you. which means you can double dip a sneak attack should you land dizzying spores successfully. If you get in there with a dagger, you stab it, apply the dizzying spores with the poison, and deal your sneak attack damage. Next turn, it moves away from you, provoking attack of opportunity. Stab it again, double dip.
I like
Pretty
that.
cute. Plays
Yeah.
nice with the rogue play pattern.
With melee rogue anyway.
Yeah. This definitely rewards melee rogue, I think, more than ranged, but you could
That's
always. Good.
I mean, that's nice because not a lot of things do.
Yeah. There aren't a lot of good reasons to get in there with a dagger, and I think this is a real reason to get in there with a dagger.
Yeah.
Um, Another option that I like a lot is you put Rage Leaf on an arrow and you shoot it at an ally, and then at the start of its turns, it just starts punching people. They're probably going to be, it usually is the people closest to it. If it's in range with your allies, it's a lot worse, obviously. Like, it doesn't do a whole lot if you're just fighting a giant ogre by itself. It just makes them angry. But against groups of coordinated people, if you get the drop on somebody, this can use their actions against themselves. It's very, very neat. You can just suddenly invoke
that was going to
anger.
be my second pick. Yeah.
It's really nifty. All right, go ahead. Make 4 poisons real quick. You can do it.
Actually,
I believe
I
in
was
you.
gonna. What do you mean?
So you're finishing a long rest. You
Yes.
are crafting 4 poisons as part of that
Okay.
long rest. You're level 3. What 4
Yeah.
are you crafting? Using the type and
Okay.
the ingredient.
Oh, all right. Type and ingredient. Ooh. I'm definitely gonna make. I'm gonna make a rage leaf. That's injury.
Mhm.
Is that what the thing is? To put on
Yep.
my arrow tips, my arrowheads. Um, I'll probably make 2 of those because that's fun.
Mhm.
What do I want for the floating shrooms? No,
You are a sucker for slow effects.
I want dizzying spores. All right, floating shrooms. I might put that on another arrow,
All
but
right, injury
I
again.
definitely want a dizzying spores to induce random movement. Like all I'm picturing is shooting these people with arrows.
That's
But
fine. You can
yeah.
just slap all these on injury potions if you want to, and then you can have all these effects at range. Bonus action apply to an arrow, fire that arrow.
But then if I did it, all right, the random movement. No, I'm going to use that for the inhaled because
You want to just
that makes
blow
like
it
a
in their
5 foot
face?
cloud.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because I might be able to get more than one.
Yeah, if 2 creatures are in that space, if something's on top of the other thing, you can get 2 things to run away from you.
Yeah,
Neat.
and then stab, stab.
Yeah, and again, you can deploy that as a bonus action.
That'll be my you know, I won't have no. Will I have poison on my dagger at that point?
It's a bonus action to apply it, and it lasts for a minute.
Oh, it'll last for a minute. Okay, there you go.
So if you want to, there are gonna be real fights where you're gonna prep ahead of time. Like, I'm gonna put 2 pieces of ammunition. I'm gonna code ahead of time. We're gonna jump in, fire a shot. It's got a poison already on it. Bonus action, release a different poison or throw a vial at somebody. And then another shot. Next turn still has my poison attached with my steady aim this time because I still my bonus action up. There's gonna be real payoffs for getting like the drop on people and actually doing the like prepped assassination thing, but they will all still work perfectly serviceably if the drop is gotten on you. If something else ambushes you, you need to pull these poisons out and use them spontaneously.
Tell you what I'm looking forward to though.
Hmm.
What level do I get to mix 2 different poison types?
That is level 13.
Level 13.
Hmm.
I'm putting the dizzying spores in with the rage leaf, and I'm putting them into a basket of cookies, and I'm gonna go leave them over by the orc camp or whatever, and
They're just gonna start a
everybody's gonna
brawl.
eat some cookies, and they're gonna be running all over the place, attacking each other. It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, agreed. That sounds incredible. 5th level, normally you don't get a feature, and there isn't an actual listed feature, but I couldn't help myself. I added 2 bonus poisons ingredients that you can use at 5th level.
Well,
So
there's
you get
3.
delirium. Oh, there's 3 at 5th level? Well,
Oh,
there is 3. I'm
yeah.
sorry. The 9s and the 5s blur together for me.
Okay.
There's 3 5s, 3 9s, and 3 13s. I did that deliberately, and I just didn't read because reading is hard. So yeah, you get delirium oil, extracted rose oils, and ice petal. So delirium oil, it makes things have a hard time telling friend from foe. This was sort of the original Rage Leaf, but it is a little bit more discreet. And it always attacks things at random, where Rage Leaf, it will target hostile things more actively. So Delirium Oil like actually makes it have a hard time targeting where Rage Leaf instead just it attacks whatever it wants to.
Yeah.
We have that's Delirium Oil. We have Ice Petal. Ice Petal gives you I think the coolest effect. So it's the reduce effect of Enlarge Reduce. that lasts a minute and it repeats the saves and stuff like that. But it also scales. So at 13th level, it diminishes its size to a quarter instead of a half. So you can reduce something large to tiny. Eh? That's pretty fun. Guarantees one round of it.
Well, wait, large to small, right?
Large to
Oh no,
small,
it
I'm
shrinks
sorry.
to tiny size. Yeah,
It
okay, yeah.
shrinks two sizes from large to
Yes,
medium,
yes.
medium to small.
Right.
Yes, two sizes. Gargantuan goes from gargantuan to huge to large. Much more manageable Kraken in that way.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. I mean, for, just to use by yourself. All right, I'm a medium creature. I want to be tiny. I want to ride around on my dog or something.
For a minute, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Or more like practically sneak in somewhere. This is the only poison that lets you willingly fail to save is the ice petal. So, that's a thought. Last one is extracted rose oils. This is the charming effect. The whole point of the 5th level ones is to give you a little bit of out of combat utility on top of a little bit of in combat utility because rogues are the market for that. And this is I slip extracted rose oils into this creature's drinks, get it to look at me, and then it's charmed for an hour. That's the idea behind extracted rose oils. Little
Yeah,
extra utility
I
things.
appreciate some added utility and some. It's like, yeah, it's called the poisoner, but you're like a chemist. You're not just poisoning things. You're making different kind of effects. I love it.
Yeah, and you still are specializing in killing people. Still, most of what you
Yeah.
do is
Oh
kill
yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah.
We move on to our 9th level options. So you get Cloud Sheep Hoof, which is Cloud Sheep Hoof. It makes things drowsy and they fall asleep, but they are very easy to wake up. The idea being having ranged incapacitation is insanely powerful for combat. So it is deliberately brought down to not be that effective in combat, but it is a way to knock a guard out. It is a way to knock somebody that is not threatened unconscious very easily. You still can use it in combat. You still can drop something in combat that makes someone else shake it awake. But a lot of the time, this is going to be aimed at getting past somebody that is awake, like a guard or someone you want to be asleep on a podium or whatever.
I mean, I think this could be very effective in combat. It's eating turns.
It can. It's
Yeah,
just creatures that are alert and threatened have advantage on the initial save, so
yeah,
they'll have a hard time falling asleep. Um, And also, this is unlike the other ones. This one doesn't give you a round of sleep. It imposes disadvantage on wisdom's perception checks, and it halves its speed if it succeeds on the save. So it still does something. It just doesn't drop the creature to sleep if it succeeds on the save, which I think figure is worth mentioning. We have two
okay.
other features here. This next one I'm fond of this conceptually. It's called Mage Root. So this makes the creature susceptible to magic, and that's basically it. It gives them disadvantage on saving throws against spells, and it takes additional die of damage whenever it takes damage from a magical source, from a spell, specifically from a spell.
Okay.
So if you want to set up a spellcaster's banishment, you can be like, "Don't worry, I got you." Mage Root shot, hit it in the stomach. It makes the save against the Mage Root. You get at least one round of it, and the wizard goes, "Okay, great, banish it." That I think can be a really cool play pattern. I think you can have some cool saber die setup moments where you're like playing with your team as a way to like set up spellcasters in some interesting fashions.
Sure.
We end with the last ninth level one was Nightmare Mold. This is basically the Frighten effect. It perceives everything around it as frightened, and it has to basically cower in fear because it's got horrible visions of nightmares around it, and creatures can alert it that the hallucinations aren't real to give it ways to repeat the save. Again, the idea
All right.
is
What
this
what
isn't
does this do mechanically though?
a frightened condition.
That's all right.
It can't move closer to anything because it's afraid
Oh,
of everything.
yeah.
And then it has disadvantage on a bunch of things. Things have advantage against it and stuff like that. It's useful.
Sure.
Frightening things is good, generally
Absolutely.
speaking. Yeah. So those are the 9th level options that you get. These are all just adding up on top of what you've been getting as you've been going. And again, every other level you're getting to craft a new poison, so you're not having to forgo making any of the lower level ones. You can make just a lot of Nightmare Mold if you want. You can make a lot of Cloud Sheep if you want to put a lot of things to sleep. Not all pretty neat. 13th level is the last tier you get new ingredients. So you get Cockatrice Bile. I just don't know if this one is too powerful or just trash. I can't tell. This is Flesh to Stone.
Yes.
Kind of. But it also at least halves its speed and makes it take an action or move, not both, which is a more debilitating condition than I think Flesh to Stone offers. Or at least a debilitating condition. I don't know. What do you think? Are you preparing
All
Cockatrice
right.
Bile ever at 13th level?
All right. Let's go back and look at the problems with flesh to stone.
Mhm.
It like, all right, I cast flesh to stone at you. What's happening?
It is poisoned, I think. Maybe restrained.
Yeah, I think
I think it's restrained.
if it fails the saving throw. And
Yes.
how is this different?
So restrained condition is you cannot move, and you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks, I think, and a dexterity saving throws as well. This is
Not,
you can
right.
move or take an action, not both. So it guarantees action disadvantage to some level. But
Yeah.
then otherwise, they're going to repeat saves. If they fail 3 in a row, they're petrified. If they pass 3 in a row, the effect ends.
Okay, so that feels a lot like the mechanics of Flesh to Stone.
Yeah.
So, but
It's being applied as a
is,
bonus action alongside damage, right? We have to remember that you're
that's
doing this
true. That's
alongside
true.
sneak attacking.
And you don't
And
have to use this in combat. I mean, this you got different ways to apply this. Yeah, if somebody just eats a cupcake and they start slowing down, and yeah, maybe they'll turn to stone.
yeah, they very well could. Also, unlike Flesh to Stone, this guarantees you a round. You get at least one round where they are going to be slowed. Where Flesh to Stone, if they pass the first save, you're just sad. So that's something, I guess. Um, Two other options that we have left to touch on. We got Infernal Blood. This is prime someone for spontaneous combustion for 10d6 fire damage after a d4 plus 1 round. And if they succeed on the save, they
Okay,
take half damage. Yeah, kind of
that's big. Yeah,
it's kind of fun. I
yeah.
like that one a lot. It's just like you hit somebody, they take the sneak attack damage, they go, "Oh, that really hurt," and you go, hey, "Don't touch him." And then a couple rounds later, it's deceased. That's cool. We end on Pixie Dust, which is a play on polymorph. So whenever you craft this, you pick a CR 8th or lower creature. You pick an ingredient from them, so like a tuft of hair or a scale or a fingernail, whatever. You mix that in with the poison, and then an affected creature turns into the thing. So if you hit somebody and you put like some sheep's wool in it, and it fails the save, it turns into it for a minute or for an hour in a failed save, or until it ends. So like by polymorph standards, by it being hit, taking damage and turned back into its regular form. Or it happens for the polymorph effect happens for a single round on a successful save. Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I think this one's also
polymorph's
really
big.
fun.
Sure. That's a. I mean, this is another one you could do on purpose.
I mean, the CR 1/8 I think is you're not turning people into giant apes with this, but you could
No,
be like, I'm gonna disguise myself as a sheep and have the brain of a sheep. Someone poke me really hard when it's ready for me to come out and surprise them. You know?
all right, you got a CR restriction. What about size restriction?
No, I did not include a size restriction. I can't think of any large CR 1/8 or lower creatures, but if they do
No, I'm
exist,
talking about
sure.
like a mouse or something. If you want to
Oh yeah,
sneak into a room, yeah.
but I mean, you also then get the brain of the mouse. Remember, polymorph is
Ah, yeah.
everything becomes that thing.
Hmm. What
A
about?
super intelligent mouse.
Sure, yeah. All right. You cast Awaken on the mouse first,
There you go.
then you shave a tear off and put it in a potion.
You turn into an awakened mouse.
Yeah, that
Conceptually, I love that.
that could be really
100%. I want
cool.
that to be a thing that happens now.
All
I think
right.
that kind of idea is what I hope this can deliver on very successfully, which is finding cool ways to use these effects that are not necessarily intended. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity in play where you make a couple of contact vials so you can bonus action apply your poison without needing to make any extra attacks or anything like that. You make a couple of applied poisons maybe to put on your dagger and whatnot so that you can, double dip, get the dagger damage and the poison condition if you want it. I think there are going to be ways to do some cool stuff just in combat with this, but also weird out of combat things. I love the idea of poisoning somebody with Rage Leaf to start a bar fight. That sounds really
Yeah.
fun to me, right? I like the idea of just putting doses of Cloud Chief Hoof in like 4 people's drinks and then synchronously watching the entire room collapse unconscious for, a minute and being like, all right, now is the time, team, rob the place. And you just sneak in and grab a bunch of stuff and sneak out.
You have 4 different application methods and a slew of different effects.
Yeah.
I feel like this is ripe for some kind of abuse.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
Commenters,
And
let me know if there's anything that like outwardly is like, oh, hey, that's super, super busted. Because this
yeah, I mean,
horse
in theory,
is
but
mutable.
I'd like to see this. I hope some of you will take this and play it.
Me too.
That's a lot of fun to be had, and I'm really interested in seeing, especially what can you do multi-classing it to take advantage and abuse this even further.
Yeah. There's a lot of potential to do some cool stuff here, I think. And I personally will very much so be trying to play a rogue so I can try this out at some point in the
Yeah,
near future. Because I think like at minimum, working off of the given ingredient list will be plenty of things to do. But it also can play into the poisoner rules in the DMG where you're scavenging like wyvern poison and stuff like that. I could definitely see just some very clean, easy expansions of this to be like, oh, I now have this poison's effect. I just want its effect, distill it, and now I can just use this with my poison craft feature. If you find specific ingredients, maybe those get to add into it. I think there's a ton of
Cool.
potential for this to grow and expand too.
That's something I wanted to ask. Where are you getting these ingredients? Like as a
Out
player?
of my brain.
No, 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 not you making them up. I'm
Mhm.
talking about me as a player. All right, I need some dizzying spores. Where am I going to find dizzying spores? Is that
I have a very important line of text as to explain how
yes?
this works. You
Okay.
don't need the exact named ingredient to gain its effects, and you know how to easily substitute readily available alternatives that provide identical effects.
Ah.
The idea is, as you're adventuring, you're gathering mold. You're gathering things here or
Mhm.
there, little spores, little herbs, whatever, and you put them in your poisoner's kit. The objective there is to shortcut a lot of the parts of the game no one really wants to necessarily play, which is the go roll for nature, see what you find. You uncover these two little herbs, can we move on? This expedites that process is the
I,
objective.
I was thinking that could be a lot of fun.
It could be. I
I have to
wouldn't
travel to the forest of whatever to find these specific things.
I would say this. For more powerful poison effects, if you wanted to expand this to do bigger, splashier things, if you wanted stun poisons, if you wanted paralysis poisons, I would probably include those options in that kind of adventure. I think the one of the core issues a lot of crafting options in this game have is they require a whole separate minigame for them to even get played. If
Yeah.
I am playing if I'm playing, an herbalist to some nature, if I'm playing someone that's like trying to craft weapons out of bone or whatever, I don't have the time to do the monster hunter crafting, mow down 15 monsters and take like loot them for their bones or whatever. We're going on an adventure. We have things to do. There's only one session happening. I really want this option and does the options that use crafting generally speaking to fit in a broader scope as far as D&D
Mhm.
games go. And that means some of the I go on a quest to get good berries needs to be redefined in some way. It needs to have cleaner, simpler solutions that allow you the fantasy of playing the crafter, the brewer without necessarily having to do the obnoxious downtime
Yeah, but you did mention, and I'm surprised now that you mention it, there are no stun or paralyzing potions.
deliberately.
Yeah,
They're really, really, really powerful effects. And there's again, you're doing this alongside a sneak attack. You're doing this alongside other things on your turn. You could do
yeah,
this
that's definitely
conceivably
important to
alongside
remember.
spell casting, right? If you end up taking 10 levels on sorcerer, you could bonus action throw a vial, get a poison effect that polymorph somebody, and then cast polymorph. So, I did try and put some restraints on this as far as what poisons make sense, what poisons can be fun, what poisons can be fair.
Good for you. All right. Well, that was Sam's Poisoner Rogue. Let us know what you think. Thank you for sharing that with us, Sam, and thank you all for watching this video and reading along at home. And yeah, I hope you'll give it a whirl. Let us know how it goes.
If you liked it a lot,
Um,
maybe we'll do more of this. Maybe
yeah,
Caverns and
absolutely.
Creatures can produce a larger product down the line. More things. Who knows?
Hope that I hope that's true. Big future. All right. In the meantime, like and subscribe to make that even more likely. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.